on our backs in a tented knee position. So once you get down onto your bum, you can bend your legs, bring those feet out to mat edges, knees fall to center, and just let yourself lay gently down on your back. Finding a comfortable spot where you can stay for a few minutes of gentle breathing here. Arms can be in a hug, crossing over your chest. So just wrapping your arms around you and then letting them hang heavy towards the floor. Just begin by bringing your attention to your breath. And just notice how it feels to be lying here and the quality of your breath at this beginning point in today's practice. Breathing in and out through your nose. Begin to gradually lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Seeing if you can send your breath gradually down through your chest and into that belly cavity. Filling up with every inhale, your belly button rising, and then falling towards your spine, emptying out fully with every exhale. Just a couple more long, deep breaths here. Cross your arms in the opposite position, so bringing the other arm closer to your face. And we'll stay for just a few more rounds of breath, evening out that shoulder stretch that's happening gently. In this shape, feeling your shoulder blades pulling apart from one another. And just notice all of the parts of your body that are pressing into the earth. Maybe give those toes a little wiggle, notice them, the sole of your foot, your heels, tailbone, lower back, ribs, spine, those shoulders, back of your head. And release your arms, bring them out beside you to a cactus shape or a U shape, and we'll take a reclined butterfly from here. So bringing the soles of our feet together this time in the center of our mat, and letting these fall apart, making a diamond shape with your legs. Option to bring more gentleness into this pose, wiggle your feet away from your body, so heels farther away from your groin. And if you feel like you want to intensify or deepen the stretch, maybe you have really open hips, you can bring your heels closer to your groin. Get back to your breath. Keep that nice, slow, steady in and out. We're taking a nice, slow start to this practice. There'll be plenty of movement to follow. you allow yourself to just be here in this pause, in this stillness. Using your hands, seal your legs together so knees come to center, and then guide them in towards your chest, giving yourself a hug. So both knees to chest. You can give yourself a little rock or roll. Maybe taking those knees in a circle, feeling your lower back pressing into the earth, 360-degree rotation here with your legs. Plant just your left foot, keeping that right knee hugging in towards the chest. And on an inhale, press your heel all the way to the ceiling, lengthening that leg out long. Hands can be grabbing onto hamstrings, calf, your pant leg, if that's better. Staying with this nice long extended right leg. Notice the breath traveling in, down to your belly, and then can you send it all the way along the back of that extended leg, where you feel all that stretch happening. Bring both knees back into chest. Another little rock. Plant the right foot this time. Left leg extends out long on an inhale. Big breath in. Find steadiness here. Keeping that leg active. Pressing towards the ceiling. One more breath in. Both knees into chest. And we'll make our way up to a seat from here. Option to roll over to fetal position on your right side and take a couple breaths there. Or if you're ready to begin getting there right away, you can start to bring a little bit of a rolling ball action into your body and roll yourself up to a seat. Once you get there, we'll stretch our legs out nice and long in front of us. Sitting up tall on our sit bones for staff pose. All 10 toes pointing up to the ceiling. Legs can have a micro bend in them here, or a generous bend if you need, in order to be sitting up nice and tall. We'll take a breath in, lengthen our spine, and then fold, hinging at the waist, folding over for a west stretch. So belly is coming towards thighs. It does not have to touch. Just go as far as is comfortable for you today until you feel that stretch along the back of those legs. Hands can rest on shins, reach for toes if they get there. Just a couple more breaths. Roll yourself back up to a seat. This time, scoot yourself so you're facing the long edge of your mat, so your legs can come out nice and long, wide, and still be mostly on your mat, just for comfort. So legs as wide as you can, sitting up tall on that sit bone. From here, we'll take a big breath in, arms to reach up. Exhale, rotate chest towards your right leg and begin to hinge at that hip. Folding over just slightly, chest over thigh. Gaze can stay down. sweep up. Exhale, arms release, rotate from the waist towards the left, and then hinging at the hips ever so slightly, bringing that chest a little closer to that thigh. It doesn't have to go far. Hands just resting on the earth or on your leg, whatever's most comfortable. Stay for just a couple more breaths here. And walk yourself up to a seat. We'll take butterfly from seated. So let's rock back so that we can bring the soles of our feet together in front of us. So again, finding that diamond shape with your legs. Again, you choose the intensity. Wiggle your heels away or closer to your body, whatever works for you. Find a spot that feels like just the right amount of stretch for today. Lifting out of that waist with a nice tall spine. Inhale. And then hinge forward at the waist one more time. Bringing that chest, this time leaning towards your feet. And open, use your hands to open your feet almost like the pages of a book. So your pinky toes stay touching, but your big toes peel away from one another. Roll yourself back up to a seat, and we'll make our way into a comfortable seated position. So you can cross your legs here or come up onto your shins is an option too, maybe with a bit of width between your knees. And we'll just pause here and find Ujjayi breath before we keep going with our standing poses and sun salutations. So just let your face relax to begin. Eyes can flutter closed. Jaw softens. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Breathing in and out through your nose. If you can, keep that breath the same length with every inhale and exhale. Feel your breath traveling in through your nostrils, along the roof of your mouth, the back of your throat, and then curling out the same way like an ocean wave. Visualize that breath traveling gently in, lapping at the back of your throat, curling out. Eyes flutter open. And pivot around so that you're facing the top of your mat, the short end of your mat, the way that you would typically be oriented. And from all fours, press those hands into the earth. Step one foot back at a time to find plank. So heels are pressing towards the back of your room, pressing away from you. Legs are really nice and strong, lifted, engaged. Press the earth away with those hands and hold here. You're doing great. For 3, 2, 1. Send your hips up to find down dog. First down dog of the practice. Take it nice and easy. You can pedal your feet out, walking them one at a time. Finding a nice bend in each leg. Press into those hands. Let your head hang heavy. are wrapping away from your ears, almost as if they're traveling to your armpits. Just a slight little rotation to really open through the top of your back and shoulders. Really nice work. Inhale, lift those heels up, bend your knees, and walk your feet to the top of your mat, meeting your hands, rolling up one vertebrae at a time when you get there, nice and slow. We will meet in mountain pose. Feet rooted about hip width apart, underneath you, shoulders. Take a couple of rolls and let them roll back and down. Palms face forward. Just find your breath here for a moment. And as we keep moving, I encourage you to take whatever adjustments you need for your body today. I'll be demonstrating the cues that I'm giving, but by all means, do whatever you need to make this your own and get what you need out of today and this time that you're setting aside for yourself. Big breath in, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to center or prayer. One more breath in. Lengthen your spine and sit your hips back to chair pose. Facing forward, hands staying in that prayer. Hug belly button in towards spine. Really activate that core. And fold forward, hinging at the hips, belly to thighs. Let yourself hang heavy. Inhale, lift halfway up. Lengthen that spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back one foot, then the next to plank. Option to lower your knees right away here, at least for this first one. Go nice and easy. Shift your weight forward a little bit and then lower belly, chest, chin to the earth. Untuck your toes, pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. Feel your kneecaps lift up. Inhale, collarbone and chin rises off the mat, baby cobra. Exhale, lower forehead back down. Knees stay lifted. Elbows squeezing in. Let's do that again. Inhale, chin and collarbone up. Slight back bend. Exhale, release back to the mat. Tuck those toes and use your hands to press yourself back up to plank. And then hips to down dog again. Encouragement always to take big breaths and sigh it out. Allow yourself to make some noise. Inhale, lift your right foot up. Exhale, step through to right thumb. Keeping your left heel lifted, we'll make our way to high lunge. You can widen your stance. For stability, just heel toe that front foot towards your mat edge. Front knee over ankle. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. Inhale, arms up overhead as an option, or keep them on your hips. We'll add some lunge dips here. Breathe in, and exhale, bring that back knee lower to the earth. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, dip. Inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale, dip. One more, inhale, straighten. Exhale, dip. Bring hands to hips. Plant your hands on the earth. Step back foot to front. So you're folded over. Inhale, lift halfway up. Nice long spine. Exhale, hang heavy. Grab opposite elbows. Give yourself a little wiggle here. And then inhale, sweep your arms up, stand up tall. We'll meet in mountain. Hands by your sides, palms forward. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hips back for chair. Second time. You know you're here already, so make some little adjustments if you need. Find ways to feel strong, engaged. Core is active. Couple breaths. Plant your hands, step back to plank from toes or knees. Shift your weight forward. Option to lower just halfway this time, chaturanga. Hug those elbows into ribs and then sweep your chest forward, up dog. Hips are lifted, press the earth away with your hands. One more breath here. Roll over those toes, down dog. Nice work. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step through to left thumb. Heel toe your foot over if you know you need it. We're going back to high lunge. Back heel stays lifted. Front knee over ankle. Couple breaths. Get adjusted. Find your balance. And we'll add those dips on this side. Breathe in first. And then exhale, lower back knee towards the earth. Does not have to touch. Inhale, press and straighten it out again. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. One more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Nice work. Plant your hands on the earth, framing that front foot. Drag your back foot up to meet it. Hang heavy, fold it in half. Give yourself a little wiggle. Inhale, half lift. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold one more time. Sweep arms up, stand up nice and tall. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. We'll move through one full sun salutation together, taking the version that works for you. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, bow, folding in half. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, plant those hands. Step back to plank from knees or toes. Lower halfway or all the way to the earth. Back bend of your choice. Pressing the earth away. Squeeze those thighs together. Make your way back to down dog. Stay here. Find your breath. Option to lower into child's pose. If you need a little bit of a break. Now is also a good time to take a sip of water, which is what I need to do. From down dog, inhale, right leg up, step through to right thumb. We're finding high lunge here. One more time, so widen that stance. When you're ready, keep front knee over ankle, back leg straightens. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, right arm crosses under left. Find eagle arms. Bringing your hands to your shoulders or wrapping your forearms, lifting them away from your face, keeping that front lunge, belly button engaged, hugging towards your spine. Unravel your arms, hands to hips, drop your back foot parallel with the short end of your mat. We'll make our way to warrior two. Keeping that front lunge, front knee over ankle, that front leg. Back leg is nice and straight. When hips and shoulders are stacked, find that T shape with your arms. Gaze out over those right fingers. Straighten your front leg, reach forward, reaching, nice and long with that right leg, right arm, and then hinge at your hips like a teapot to find triangle pose. So keeping that T shape with your arms, both legs are pressing towards straight now. Core is active. Give yourself a little check by lifting your bottom hand away from your calf. That way you'll know if your core is doing the work. Gaze can be up if that's okay on your neck, or just forward. Stay here for a couple breaths. Triangle's tough work. You're doing awesome. Bring yourself back to warrior two by lunging into that front leg, windmilling the arms back to a standing T shape. Just for one grounding breath. Straighten that front leg again. This time, pivoting on your front foot so you're facing the long edge of your mat. Once more in a wide-legged stance. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward at those hips, bringing shoulders and chest towards the earth for wide-legged. Forward fold. Hands come underneath you. Tented finger or palms flat on the earth if they get there. You can always lengthen your stance or shorten it a bit. Once you're folded over and can gauge what you need, let your head hang heavy. Feel that stretch along the back of both legs. Trust yourself here. You've got this. Walk your hands towards your right foot or ankle. Maybe one of them grabs hold, or they just stay on the earth. Just notice how this changes the stretch and the sensation in the legs. Walk yourself back to center. Heel toe your feet together so your stance is a little bit shorter. And you feel more stable and ready to roll yourself up standing. And from this wide-legged position, just a little wider than hip width, we'll move into goddess pose. Inhale, arms up, exhale, hands to cactus shape. And when you're ready, we'll begin to slide, bend our legs, and slide our back down as if we are sliding down a wall. I happen to have a wall right behind me, you may not. Toes are pointing away from your hips towards the edges of your mat. Arms in this cactus shape. If that's too much, you can lower them down to hips. Let's add some dynamic movement here. Straightening your leg and reaching up on an inhale. Exhale, squat, cactus arms. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, squat, cactus arms. Again, inhale. Exhale, back to squat. One more lift. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, squat and hold. Nice work. Hands to hips. Straighten those legs. And adjust your way back to warrior two one more time on this side. So, right toes pointing to the top of your mat. Bring that lunge back into that front leg. Shoulders stacked over hips. Nice T shape. Inhale, flip those palms up to the ceiling. And we'll reverse our warrior. Drop the back hand, raise the front hand. Looking up to the ceiling. Keep that lunge in the front leg. Big breath in. Exhale, bring front forearm down to bent thigh. Top arm sweeps up over your ear. So bicep over ear, reaching to the front of the room. Side angle pose. Tendency is going to be to want to sink into your shoulder here. So see if you can stay lifted. Give yourself a little test by hovering your forearm off your thigh just for a moment. See how that feels. From that lifted, engaged place, can you stay for 3 breaths? Plant your hands in front of your front foot, pivot on that back foot, Otherwise, press up to down dog or find child's pose. Again, great opportunity to take a drink. Should we find your breath? I'm rotating on my mat so that I'm not putting my back to the camera, but you stay right where you are. And from down dog, or if you're in child's pose, taking a break, make your way back to down dog now. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step through to left thumb, high lunge. Find your balance first, and when you're ready, lift up. Front knee over ankle, pressing through that back leg and back heel. It stays lifted, but your leg is strong and engaged. We'll add those eagle arms. Inhale, arms up first. Exhale, left arm crosses under right, and then bring hands either to shoulders or wrap those forearms for a full eagle bind. Wherever you are, keep your elbows lifted up away from your chest. Check back in with that front lunge. How you doing? Unravel those arms, bring them to hips. We'll make our way to warrior two. So dropping that back foot. So it's parallel with the short end of your mat. Wiggle your feet so your front heel lines up with that back arch. Keeping that lunge in the front leg. Nice T-shape with the arms. Looking out over your front fingers. Knit those ribs in, closing the space between your ribs, your bottom ribs, and your hip bones. See that adjustment? Even just play with it a couple times and see if you notice anything. Easy, common tendency to really arch through the lower back here, and we want to keep the core muscles doing the work for us. Straighten your front leg, reach forward as far as you can with that left arm, and then hinge at the hips like a teapot, opening your chest to the side of the room for triangle pose. Arms are in a T, both legs pressing towards straight, and that core is really working hard. Just keep breathing. Bring yourself back to warrior two. Just ground here for a moment. Let's take a big deep breath in. Sigh it out. One more. Bring hands to hips. Straighten that front leg. Pivot on that front heel this time. Facing the long edge of your mat. Again, this time you're probably facing the opposite side from what you were last time. I've adjusted so that I look the same. From that wide-legged position, inhale, lengthen your spine, and then hinge forward at the waist, keeping your chin tucked in. It doesn't have to take you there. Fold over at the waist as far as you can, and then let your hands come gently underneath you. Again, tented fingers, flat palms, maybe up on fists. And if the stretch feels too intense, just heel-toe your feet closer together. So you're still in wide leg. Breathe into the back of that left leg. Walk yourself back to center. Heel to your feet in a little bit, so you're a little more steady. That stance is shorter. And when you're ready, press into those heels and let yourself roll up to standing. Move back into goddess pose. So feet are still wider than hips, but not as wide as they were. Toes pointing out to mat edges away from you. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale them into cactus shape. Inhale and exhale, squatting down, bending those legs, sliding your back, again, as if down a wall. And can you just tuck your pelvis ever so slightly so that it's a little more underneath you. Again, not shooting back, not leaning on the back of that wall with your bum, if that wall was there, right? Add that dynamic movement. Inhale, straighten your legs. Arms reach up. Exhale, back to squat. Inhale, straighten and lift. Allow this to be a little breather. Let the breath move through you. Inhale, press and lift. Exhale, squat. One more. Inhale. Nice and tall. Exhale. Back to goddess and stay for just the last few breaths. Hands to hips. Straighten those legs. Whew, you did it. Make your way back into warrior two. So this time, your left foot is pointing to the top of your mat. Those toes are forward, lined up to that back right leg that's parallel. Find your lunge first. And when your hips and shoulders are stacked, bring your arms up to a T. Nice grounding place to be. Flip those palms to the ceiling and reverse your warrior. Front arm reaches up, back arm comes down towards your leg, gazes up. Keep that front lunge. It's going to want to sneakily leave. Big breath in here. And exhale that front forearm down to the front thigh. Sweep your arm up overhead. So right bicep over right ear. Option to take a half bind this time by bringing that right arm around your lower back, really opening through the chest. And once again, check in with that shoulder. Are you sinking way in, or can you use the strength that I know you still have left to lift yourself off your shoulder a little bit? Again, hover the forearm off the leg. See how that feels. Those thighs will definitely have something to say about that. One more breath here. And plant your hands in that front foot. Step back to plank. Whew, and then take what you need. Press up to down dog. Add a flow or make your way right to child's pose. Take a handful of breaths here in this independent place. You're breathing. Allowing your sensation to just roll through you right now. From down dog, lift your heels, bend your knees, and step to meet your hands rolling up to mountain. your breath. We'll make our way into eagle pose. Begin with your feet really rooted into the earth. Hopefully we're there already from mountain pose. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, right arm crosses under left. And again, hands come to shoulders or find that full forearm wrap. Once you've chosen your arms, we'll add the legs. So, right heel lifts. And then you choose how far that right leg crosses over left. Maybe it crosses at the thighs. You wrap yourself up as tightly as you can. Maybe you cross at the ankles and you stay here today. If you're wrapping at the thighs, roll that foot. Tuck it around your calf maybe. If it reaches, you're looking for a real tight wrap everywhere and your expression of that today. Squeezing everything to center line. Thighs, calves, forearms. Maybe sit that bum back a little bit as if in chair. That's a toughie. Just a couple more breaths. Unwrap those legs. Come back to standing. Unwrap those arms. Whew. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold at the waist. Hinging forward, full fold. Nice and heavy. Heel toe your feet out to the edge of your mat, so nice and wide. Toes even can pivot to come off the mat. And with your hands as tented fingers or fists underneath you, we'll set our hips down, coming into a yogi squat. Make the adjustments that you need to be able to find a spot here that works for you. It's a bit of a tricky one in that it feels very different pretty much every time you get down here. So hands can stay in front of you if you need to. Otherwise, if you want to, you can bring hands to prayer, pressing into those inner thighs just for a couple breaths. Bring your hands in front of you, and we'll lift our hips back up into that forward fold. And from here, we will roll up to stand, nice and slow. And center ourselves in mountain once again. And for the last time. So let's really make it count. Root, big toe, pinky toe, and heel into the earth. Shoulders back and down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, left arm crosses under right. Eagle arms, second side. Lift your left heel off the earth and then choose, playing around, maybe trying a couple things, how to cross or wrap that left leg over top of the right. Squeezing arms and legs together, tightly. Here, it will not last long. Let yourself feel whatever sensation or feeling or frustration even that might be bubbling up from this challenging, sometimes dreadful posture. And unravel those legs. Whew. Plant both feet on the earth. Arms unwrap as well. Maybe walk it out. Feet are probably feeling that all by now. If they weren't already, give yourself like a little march. Just let the sensations all pass. Nice. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Nice big bow, belly coming to thighs. is, I mean, about that far. Toes pointing out off the mat even, before sitting your hips down into that squat position. It may feel different the second time, so you can choose to put your hands in a different place, maybe keeping them down if they were lifted or vice versa. Bring your hands to the earth. Shift your weight into your hands this time. And allow yourself to lift so you can wiggle your feet closer into center. And then from here, step back to plank. Let's hold one last time in plank. Pressing through those heels. Feeling the strength light up all through our legs the last little bit that we've got in the tank. For today anyway, for this moment. And then lift your hips up. Down dog. Nice work. Just feel a nice long spine here. Letting your face soften. Your jaw, your forehead. Let your neck be nice and long. Maybe give it a couple yeses and nos. Lower your knees gently to the mat. And we will find a seat on our bum. Legs out long in front of us. Staff pose. We were here at the beginning of class, so I know that you can find it. Sitting up on those sit bones, you can move your bum cheeks out of the way. Sitting up nice and tall. Hug your left knee into your chest, and then lift that foot over top of your bottom leg so that your left foot is now on the outside, the outside of your right thigh. From here, hug that knee, that bent knee into your chest, and roll your chest open to the left. We'll do it this way today. So, my chest and my eyes are facing to the left. That left hand is just helping me find steadiness and find a nice tall spine. It can be in a tented finger position just on the earth. And just breathe here. Unravel yourself so you're facing forward. Bring both legs out long in front of you again. Give them a little shake. Wiggle them out, do a little reset, and we'll do that on the other side. So your right knee comes into your chest first. You can use your arms to help lift it over top of that bottom thigh. So now the sole of your foot is on the earth, but it is on the outside of that left thigh. Hugging your knee into your chest. You can use your left arm to really hug it in and keep it there. And then roll your collarbone and bring your chin over facing the right side of the room. That free arm, your right arm, again, just gently propped behind you or beside you, like a kickstand. And that bottom leg that's on the earth is still active, so those toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Everything is still engaged for just a few more minutes. yourself. Bring both legs out long. Nice little shake and shimmy. And then bring your feet to the earth so that you can gently roll yourself down. You might need to scooch up to the top of your mat to start. Hands can stay holding on to the backs of your thighs so you can gently roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. And once you're down there, take any last little movements that you might be craving. Happy baby with both knees in towards chest, towards armpits really, and feet pressing up to the ceiling is a nice option. And then we will be settling into our final resting pose, Shavasana, laying out long arms and legs can be on your mat or even a little wider. Feel free in this final rest to just really allow yourself to take up some space. And let your feet fall with ease off to the right. Option always to keep your hands resting on your chest or your belly, especially if it helps you keep your focus on your breathing. Allow your eyes to close. Your gaze just lose focus. Settle in to a few minutes of stillness. Begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Lifting yourself back up. A nice long stretch might feel nice right now, as if you're waking up for the second time today. Allow yourself over onto your right side. And to feel pose and take a few breaths there, just allowing yourself to kind of come back online, so to speak, and all your senses just get re-engaged. Push yourself up to a seat. Keep your eyes closed and low to the ground just for these last few seconds. And when you're seated in a comfortable spot, bring your hands to center in front of your heart, and either silently or out loud, your choice, depending on where you are today, we'll say together, thank you to ourselves for showing up on our mat and to our practice. Thank you to one another for making this exchange of yoga teacher and student possible. And thank you to all of the teachers and the teachings who came before us, allowing us to share in a beautiful, wonderful, and very old tradition of yoga. And so with that, let's bow forward together as a physical gesture of that gratitude, and I wish you a beautiful day or evening, and I'll see you next time.